Yo, what's up, all you burner stones and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman?
Mr. Weedman?
How the hell are you?
Fantastic.
I love it. Hey, everybody out there. Hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal with some friends of ours that threw us some buds at our last event called Tickled Pink. The brand, and we are smoking Guava Barz number 5. And I'll tell you, I got a little bit of information about it. And
gee, I'm dropping shit over here,
already,
Mr. Weedman.
man, you're not even stoned yet.
I know.
Review of the Guava Barz is it's a strain brand profile that came into the market not too long ago, and it's a sativa-leaning hybrid cross of Biscotti and Guava 74. The batch of flower is terpenes, has B-carpholine, limonene, B-myrcene, and A-humulene being the most prevalent, which is weird for being a sativa dominant, having a myrcene, a high myrcene in there, so which is my favorite. Guava Barz is fast-acting, inducing optimistic mood shift, while simultaneously relaxing muscles throughout the body and creating an overall sensation of floating. Energy levels remain steady and focus intact, making Guava Barz a solid choice for mental or physical work. There's some playfulness involved with Guava Barz, and even the rest of the effects have dissipated. You still feel a little giggly. Overall, Guava Barz paired a tropical forward flavor profile with a mentally positive, physically relaxed hybrid effect that could fit into any daytime. So I would like to thank Tickled Pink. There's their little logo over there. Thank you so much, Tickled Pink, for dropping us a great strain that we're looking forward to smoke. How is it, Mrs. Weedman?
I don't know. I'm choking on nothing.
You're choking?
I'm just choking on my own.
And we got thrown some more of those wraps by Rapafire, so we want to thank them again for throwing us some wraps. We appreciate you out there.
Give it a
Thank
try.
you, Mrs. Weedman. We had a fun weekend. Our niece came into town that we haven't seen in 6 years. My brother, Bigfoot's daughter, and boy, is she very tall and very beautiful young lady. But she's taller than me.
I'm not laughing at her. I'm laughing at you are like the king of nicknames.
I am.
What did you? Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah.
I think you called my mom like Tutu Weed. You call your mom Grandma Weed.
Ma Weed.
Ma Weed.
Ma 420. She's Grandma Weed or Ma 420. Because Ma means weed in Chinese, in Mandarin. And so it was great to see her. She brought her boyfriend up. She just moved.
Great.
Yeah, and I have not seen her in 6 years. She stayed the weekend with her boyfriend, and what a delight to have her up here. And my brother and I were very big pot smokers, and she's not. But she bought us a gift. She bought us 150 milligram edibles that she ordered
Online.
Yeah, online, and they're shaped like ice cream cones, and she thought it was cute. So I want to thank my niece for bringing us some weed. Looking forward to trying these little mini ice cream cones. And
Thanks for supporting the cause.
Yes, and they do. And just so you know, my niece is the one that did the drawing of me and Mrs. Weedman as the anime characters, along with Yuki in there. So she actually suggested that she draws an updated one. So we might get an updated anime and get a newer Yuki in there, like a older adult Yuki.
Oh no, what's Tez gonna do? He has his tattoo. We'll have to have like the credits roll out with the old picture, and we'll have the new one at the beginning because we gotta support Tez.
Yeah, always will support our friend Tez. But it'll be everlasting. That's the original. So he has the OG for being an OG. So very nice. This Tickled Pink. Very smooth. And so she came into town, and we all got together as a family. It was the first time in 6 years. Our kids and her boyfriend. And we had a great time on Saturday. I'll give you, if you haven't been to Chicago yet, or if you're ever coming to Chicago, there's a few staple places you need to stop at if you're in the mood for. We're foodies, as Mr. and Mrs. Weedman always talk about. We love our food. We love visiting new restaurants, new sandwich shops. I'm a dive bar fanatic, especially if a dive bar has really good food. I am a dive bar haven. I can just go to dive bars and be a happy camper. And but if you've never been to Chicago before, or if you're in Chicago, and it's probably going to get even more busier now since I'm mentioning them, D'Amato's. If you haven't been to Tomatoes yet, you need to go there and try. I suggest not going on the weekends because the line is out the door. And phenomenal bread bakery.
It's an old Chicago institution, bread company, Italian bread company.
But they make some fine and delicious Sammys.
Yes,
and
the store is literally like 15 by 15 square feet. You know, it's like small, very small. It's just a little U-shaped counter, and everybody crowds into the middle, and everyone's getting mad because there's nowhere to stand, and you need to order your sandwich. It's jammed.
Yes, and Mrs. Weedman was smart, and she told Mr. Weedman to call it in, the order in, and I did 20 minutes before we were getting there, and it was there and ready to go when I got there.
And Mr. Weedman had smoke coming out of his ears because I made him call the order in. But then when we got there, he's like, hey.
I applauded Mrs. Weedman and bowed on the way out. And so they make some really good Sammys, though. They also have a great Italian cookie selection and some phenomenal bread and pizza bread, too. Different styles of pizza bread. So check it out. I would not go there on a Saturday, though. I'm warning you, Saturdays or Sundays are mobbed. Call in. Yes, like Mrs. Weedman teaches me. Call in. And so we got there, had that, and we went and had a nice family outing at our son's place. And it was the first time all of us were together in a very long time. And in this house, growing up and with my dad, the ball busting that goes on in this family, the tradition still goes on. And there's always a lot of ball busting, breaking, as my dad would always call it, breaking chops or busting chops. And there was a lot of busting chops going on this weekend, and the tradition will always stand. And where we were all talking, the conversation, there was a lot of fun talk going on, and brought back a lot of cool memories because we hadn't seen her in 6 years since we all went down to Florida to visit her and her dad, and had a lot of laughs. And but then we went to our first escape room, my first escape room, your first escape room, but not our kids or my niece and her boyfriend's first time. And we did, what was the name of the room, the kind of room we did?
Like the Red Line or Operation Red. Or
Red Crimson.
Red Crimson.
Yes, and it was more like trying to solve, like, they were going to try to blow something up. And we had to get through three rooms.
Yeah. You had to unlock the suitcase to stop the bombing from happening. Right?
We made it through the first room really fast. And in the second room, we got that done in like 5 minutes, maybe like 8 minutes. And when we got to the third room, which was, wow.
No, the second room we were in I didn't even anticipate being in more than one room.
Oh, it was an hour. So it felt like we got to do it quick. So we probably got to the third room in 30 minutes left. Yes, we did, because we went and checked the time. We had 30 minutes left when we got to the third room. And the third room took us 18 minutes to solve.
About. Yeah.
Yeah, and we were stuck on one thing, and it was so simple, it was foolish. There was a map that lit up when you put a card next to it, and it showed different nuclear facilities throughout the world. And the thing is, you couldn't see it because there was a big fluorescent light right above our heads that was kind of like, you couldn't really see the map that good because of this fluorescent light. And all of a sudden, we're like, this thing is in hitting us in the head, hitting me in the head, and no one really realized it. I wonder if we got to shut this off. And someone clicked it and it went off, and then all of a sudden, you went up to the map and you could see what the map spelled. And didn't it spell moom?
Mm-hmm. We were all contemplating the second M because we wanted it to be we needed a 4-letter combination to open a safe. And we were convinced that it was moon, because why would it be moon? We were looking for a word, not just letters. Yeah, so we were all convinced. But then when the light went off, you could really see. It's like, well, yeah.
And that was the last piece of the puzzle to get to the bomb, to turn off the nuclear bombs. And when we got to we finally found the last thing we needed, and then got to the nuclear bomb briefcase where we had to disengage. Was it 5? Or 4?
Yes, it was like a bunch
5
you had to detonate the bombs.
5 of them that we had, and you had 5 minutes on each one. And if you messed up on that bomb, you lost a minute. And we didn't know. And then all of a sudden, Paulie, our son, came over to help out my niece and her boyfriend, and he did that in a matter of 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Got all 5 of them done in 3 minutes. The color core.
He decoded it and figured out the combinations.
Real quick. And all of a sudden.
So that was a different series of combinations.
Yes.
So there were 3, in that last room, there were 3 different cases we had to open.
Yes.
That all required combination. So we had to.
And then there was
were
puzzles. There was
There were different puzzles in the room and different clues in the room that let us open each case.
Right.
But you had to find. Then the cases had to be in order.
Yep.
Yeah. Like we couldn't get that last case without codes from the other cases. It was crazy. It was.
And then we had to do the old telephone wires into like these
magnetized panels.
and then to find out where these color coded wires went into to be able to open up a different case.
It was cool.
And it was also a cut off finger that we had to use as a fingerprint.
Oh yeah, for bioprinting,
to be able to get into one.
What is that called? Biometric.
I don't know.
Whatever. It needed a fingerprint, and the fingerprint was a dead man's or
ice.
a dead finger.
That was in the main briefcase that we carried from the beginning.
Oh, that was that briefcase. I thought we brought that case in.
No, that came with us from the beginning, and so it was a lot of fun. I don't know if I'd do one again anytime soon, but maybe in a few years I'd try one again or something like that. But it was a lot of fun. A lot of laughs, a lot of ball busting going on and chop busting going on in each room because when people were trying to figure something out, they get screwed up, and it was kind of funny. And but I do suggest if you've never done one before, and or if you have and you enjoy them, I know the people that enjoy them and go regularly. But if you ever tried one before, go with a group, at least 4 people. You do need help. I don't know if 2 of us could have solved that in an hour.
No,
I know.
Everybody kind of took a
Yes,
turn.
there was a lot of help going on, so everybody looked for different clues. So I suggest going with a small group of 4 or 5 or 6.
I think 4 would be ideal.
Yeah, 4 is good because then everybody gets a chance to do a little bit more. But we completed it with 12 minutes left. So, but I do suggest everybody to go have fun and do experience it. And they're all over the country now, right?
Yeah.
These escape rooms, and pick one that you like. And go have some fun and go live a little bit. And then we went for ramen.
Yes, we did.
Monster Ramen. Oh boy, was that good. And I mean, I usually could finish ramen. I couldn't finish that bowl. That bowl was
rich.
Monstrous.
Yeah.
We ate, what was it called? The Monster?
We got the Monster.
And but before I love gyoza, pan fried gyoza. It's like every time I see it and it's pan fried, no matter where I'm at, I'll get it and to try it. And they had this one that had, I don't remember the name.
It had beef jam, which became a really big textural problem for me. The flavor was fine, but it was literally like yum, yum, yum. Like mushy. There was no chewing required, but it tasted like meat. It was like, and I wouldn't eat pate, so I can't even like pate. I think is more like moussey, pasty. It was just.
I didn't mind it.
I had a hard time. It was in my ramen.
It was good in the ramen.
That's okay because it kind of
mixed
dissipated, and then it was just kind of like little bits of ground beef within the pasta. That was great. But at first, I took like a little spoonful of it, and I was just like,
Really? I tried it. I liked it. I'm like, I can put this on toast.
Nope. And then our niece asked for hers on the side.
Thank God she did.
I know, but then it just sitting in a dish on the side was like,
I put some of it. I put some of it in my bowl just so it wouldn't go to waste.
But the gyoza were good because they were drizzled kind of like a
they had like a
sushi roll. So it had like the eel sauce on it maybe and like a spicy mayo and some umami seasoning and some seaweed flake.
Yeah. And then they had a regular one too that we got. And the gyoza I enjoyed the gyoza a lot, and I enjoyed my bowl of ramen.
It was good.
Yeah, it was very good. I reckon we love ramen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've eaten ramen. I've eaten ramen in a lot of spots. And that one was up there. Yeah. My favorite is still Oyster though.
Oyster is my favorite for like a modern take on ramen, but at the same time being very, very traditional. Like their broth couldn't be, it really couldn't be more they do it like by the book, but it is so rich. Oh. It is the thickest. Like
you're bebopping all the way out the door.
If we bring ours home for leftovers and put it in the pan the next day to warm it up, it's like bloop. Yeah, it just plops out. Yeah, it's like thick. It congeals. Yes. Is like some heavy stock.
Their pork is
their pork belly is candy.
God, to die for.
But I like the simplicity of strings. So strings started in Chinatown. The family has franchised. I don't know that other people own the franchise. I mean, I guess that is franchising, right? They've got one in Madison. They've got a couple of them around the city. Yeah. But we go to the one in Chinatown. I've been to the one in Madison. It's just kind of like old school. ramen.
You get the hell too, don't you?
I do get the hell too.
Yeah, you get the hell too.
I love
I
the
can't
spice.
do the spice. Oh my god, I tried yours one time.
They're just like they're solid. It's a solid. You
It's
can
very
count
good.
on it.
Yes.
Reliable ramen.
Yes, it's a good spot for ramen.
Yeah.
It's very traditional. It's light. You can eat I can finish a whole bowl there. I can't finish a whole bowl at Oyster because their
Oh, God,
broth
no,
is
it's
so
so
thick,
rich.
and I couldn't finish the monster.
Yeah.
But I can always finish strings. And
Yeah.
because the broth is a little bit lighter, which is nice.
But super flavorful.
Yeah, I'm a miso guy. I love miso ramen, so I mean that's just me. But you get that hellfire, boy.
Yeah, I do.
You've only gotten to 2 though. You've never gotten any higher, right?
No, I did do 3, and
Yeah.
it was just not enjoyable.
My bro Bigfoot, he did
He did
5.
yeah.
He's like,
He
I'm
wanted to get
do
on the
5.
wall. I'm gonna get on the
He goes,
wall.
I want to do
Did
5.
he finish it?
No.
No.
He ate most of it though, but he was like, he goes, I can't taste anything after.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, your asshole's gonna be burning for a week after that.
He was just dripping sweat.
He wasn't really, but it was hot.
Yeah.
Paulie and I were just fucking laughing, hysterical. I was eating it because he's like, "This is hot." I'm like, "I told you." I said,
No joke.
Mrs. Weedman does the 2.
Yeah.
You know, you should have
And
started
it's-
with the 3. He goes,
it has
he
flavor.
probably would have liked it if he did just the 3, but he thought it was really good. But that started his ramen. Like he never had
It
ramen
kicked off?
before until that was like his kickoff.
Okay.
And ever since then, he's enjoyed it. And we've gone for every time I'm with him, we go for ramen somewhere.
always good.
So it's a good tradition.
Yummy.
Yeah, we like ramen. It's very good. If you haven't had ramen before, it's a good experience. Just if you don't like all the stuff,
you just
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, just
That's
start
for
off.
noodles with the broth.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
some if you like a few veggies.
I
get
could
some
just do
veggies
that
in there.
sometimes too. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Your grandma's
Especially if you go to a
chicken
place
soup.
that makes their own
Their own noodles and
Ugh.
yeah.
Monster does. Oyster does.
Strings does.
Strings, but not there. They have
Right.
it made from their other place and brought over. So they make their own too. Yeah, having special, noodles made at the place, you could tell the difference. So, but yeah, go enjoy life, everybody. Just like we just did, smoke some good flower.
Yeah, we were a mixed crowd.
Yeah.
Our daughter-in-law to be Sam, the producer.
Yeah.
Shoddy, as I can't say ever.
Shoddy.
She likes weed, so
Yes.
she smokes with us.
Yes.
And that was it. It was just us and her.
Yes.
So we stepped outside before the
Oh, we were banging
escape
that
room.
hash
We were
rosin.
hitting- Yeah.
We were banging
rosin.
that. We were nice
Yeah.
and high for that one. That was really good. But yeah, go enjoy some ramen. Escape room. Go have some fun. Get out there. I know it's wintertime here in the Midwest, but that's the best time to do it.
You got to find things to do just to get out.
Oh, we went to Sunday. We went. I was a little stony blown. We went
Oh,
inside.
that was fun. Yes.
We went to what was it called? Sky
Zone.
Sky Zone.
It was a busy weekend.
Oh my God, that place was packed.
Yeah. No, I'm saying we had a busy
No,
weekend.
I know, but that
Yeah.
place was packed.
That
And
was.
I was stoned when we walked in, and you walked into about 500 screaming kids.
Screaming, running kids.
And
It's just
I was like,
sensory
"Whoa."
overload.
Yeah, and it was really
Where am
bright
I?
in there. The lighting is horrendous. I mean, the place is amazing, but the lighting, the fluorescent lighting, is just so blinding.
Yeah.
Especially when you're high and you walk in. And you walk into a
really
500
bold
screaming
colors
kids,
and kids
500
screaming and
kids.
running.
And then we got to our family spot
Yeah.
because it was our nephew's birthday, and your sister's birthday, so party. So but when you get inside, it's a lot of fun. There's a dodgeball area when you're on a like trampolines, like soft mat, and you could jump. And then there was the basketball area, and then there was the jousting area, and then the big pit with all the little like soft bricks, foam, and you fall in. I couldn't get up like a turtle. I can't get up. Help me!
There was like a jousting, stand-up jousting.
Yes. And when if you fell in, I tried not to fall face forward. I fell on my back, and one time you tried to help me get up, and I couldn't
cannot
get
out of those things. It's like 5 feet deep of foam squares.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And then we went to the trampoline area too. It's a lot of fun. It is. It was a lot of kids though. I felt like I was going to crash into one or something because there's so many kids.
I kept thinking
around.
it should be like an adult park at night. Like,
Yes.
To be able to go there and jump and bounce around
And not worry
have
about
good music.
running into a kid.
Dim the lights, like cosmic jumping
Yes.
for adults.
That'd be fun as hell. Stone
right?
would be even better.
That'd be amazing.
And which I was.
So was I. And my sister.
Oh, I tried eating edible too before we came in.
She was baked, and she came on the trampoline. It was me, my niece, and my sister. And the trampolines aren't like the space where the big trampolines are, like the high jumping trampolines. They're just kind of like 6 by 6 foot trampolines, and a bunch of them, like all neighboring each other with like a bumper in between each one. And so 3 of us were on this one, and these things are like super springy. If you give, like there's like a boing. I think my head was probably 10 feet off the ground. when I was jumping,
Yeah.
right? I was
Yeah, it was
getting up there.
yeah, we were all
getting-
pretty.
And she was so baked, and she doesn't she hasn't been exercising. She will say that she's out of shape, and she jump, and it was like she literally like folded. It wasn't even like you're on your feet and you fall forward. It was like her feet went backward and she just slammed down. Then she looked, she's like, whoa. She's like, I felt like I was just flying. I'm like, girl, you're baked.
Yeah.
You were flying.
Shit.
She almost face planted though.
You jump pretty high. So it's another thing that if you got kids and you listen to the show, it's fun to go. It gives something to do in the wintertime
is
here
fun.
in the Midwest. And
Yeah,
it was fun.
burn some calories.
I was watching kids just going nonstop. I got whacked in the face on the side. I went to go pick up one of the dodgeballs. Wham!
Yeah, there's a dodgeball court, there's
dodgeball court's
basketball,
fun.
but it's all padded and mushy, and you can, like, it's fun.
And I was watching kids just ram each other in the basketball court. I was like, oh, bam.
We were playing dodgeball, and at one point we kind of overtook the dodgeball court, and it was just our party. And
we started letting kids in,
and then
though.
some other kids were coming in. There was a young guy that came in probably in his early 20s. That guy had like the fiercest look on his face when
he
he
was
chucked
throwing
that
some ball.
But the ball was so soft that even though he was throwing it like ridiculously aggressive, it didn't even hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
I got whacked in the face. It didn't hurt, but it felt like I got slapped.
He was angry.
Yeah, he was angry. Very, very
What
angry.
was his problem?
I
saw him beelining it. There was like the smallest kid that was in there with us was probably like a little 4-year-old. And he chucked it at that kid. He chucked it at
Man, that's just a mean
like, poor
person.
kid.
Just mean. Mean dodgeball. I don't like mean
probably his big
dodgeball
brother,
players.
too.
I don't like mean dodgeball players. Just trying to
like
hurt
we're
people.
just playing.
Mean.
Yeah.
Nobody likes a damn mean dodgeball player. I'm pretty baked. Thanks. What is this? Guava Barz number 5 by Tickled Me Pink.
I told you this was good.
Pretty
I
good.
had one of these pre-rolls a couple weeks ago.
Pretty good. Nice stuff. I approve. Weedman approves. So you ready to get the show started?
I am ready.
All right, let's do this. Weed accessories.
Hey.
Okay, but harbors 49% more germs than a toilet bowl.
Oh, yummy. That's pipes, bongs, glass, that kind of thing, right?
The tradition of passing the joint has been shared among friends for generations, thousands of years, peace pipes and all that fun stuff. But maybe time should change. No, I don't think so. But you might change your mind after you hear this. The COVID-19 pandemic made people question a lot, like how often their friends wash their hands. This becomes especially prevalent if someone is rolling a joint, passing the piece, or doing anything else that might make a person wonder about their personal hygiene choices. Turns out there is some reason to think about this. A company by Moose Labs that crafts products to reduce weed cess germs researched exactly how gross pieces can get. What they found is pretty disgusting. The company left a pipe on the table at 2 California consumption-friendly cannabis events and asked 100 people in each setting to sesh with this piece. The first 50 participants were given a Moose Labs mouthpiece to smoke with, and the second half was not for A/B testing method. The pieces were swabbed at predetermined intervals and tested for bacteria. A baseline was set using randomized swabs from the other pipes, vapes, ATM keys, bathrooms, and more. The results surprised the research team as bacteria levels tested higher than they could have ever imagined. You sure you want to hear this?
I don't know.
It was difficult to find neutral objects in daily life that was contaminated as a cannabis pipe, which has on average almost 1.5 times more bacteria than a public toilet seat. The study,
Suck that bomb.
The study reads. Now I understand this is done by Moose Labs. They're but I don't know if they would really lie about this. They probably spent some money. Research says disinfect your pipe. The toilet seat was the most visceral result, but it is joined by a bounty of gross comparisons. The germs clocked in at 1,304% more bacteria than a dog bowl. Our dog, he's got a clean mouth. 530% more than the average phone screen. 92% more than a keypad. 90% more than a dumpster.
Oh. That's bad.
62% more than a shopping cart handle.
Yeah.
49% more than a toilet seat.
Why is it that we're willing to just pick up and suck on things that other people have? Why, when it comes to weed, we'll like just share a joint and a bowl and a bong with just about anybody?
How
It's
many
the culture.
times do I have
know.
to tell you?
It's the culture. I get
How many
it.
times? No.
There's
How
angels
many
in those wings.
No, leaves.
In the leaves, but you call them wings, no?
That's why it doesn't kill us. It only makes us
Why do we have to share
stronger.
it?
You don't have to share it.
But then you're a jerk. I mean, that's part of it. Like you.
So wait, listen. On top of this, the study indicated that few people are cleaning or taking precautions before hitting pieces, even at big events after the pandemic.
Yeah.
Only about 5% of participants utilized to provide alcohol wipes before packing and hitting the pipe.
Ooh.
Their data also dictates that using a mouthpiece decreases the spread and the amount of bacteria by almost 6,000%.
Wait a minute. They provided alcohol wipes, and only 5% of the people picked one up and wiped it.
Yeah.
They just walked up to some rando pipe and hit it. That's gross. Might as well lick a toilet seat.
I mean, especially here's the crazy thing when
That's bizarre.
If you go to like a big music festival, right? Like where they do this at. There's only porta johns there.
Right.
And
There's not a lot of hand washing.
No. Probably very nil.
And then eating, licking fingers, scratching your head.
And then all of a sudden you're smoking your bowl, and the guy next to you looks at you and you're like, "Hey, can I get a hit?" And you kind of feel like a jerk not sharing.
Roll a joint. Smoke it.
So would you puff pass knowing all this?
I have.
But you didn't know all this. You
know, it's always questionable.
Right.
Sometimes you're like,
But we're tied to tradition and culture, right?
Right.
So that's why I don't know if I can ever stop.
Because there's just like, it's a great thing
Right.
to have a joint with people.
Right. But when you're sharing glass, you can have some alcohol wipes. And if you just feel like you don't really want, just wipe around the rim.
Right.
You know, you don't have to wipe the whole thing, but at least wipe the rim if you're.
I got to talk to Kirsten. Vape and prop, because I think there's something else she needs to design.
You hear
Kirsten,
that?
we need to talk.
Just food for thought, everybody. Science and health cannabis. Infused more suppositories, but not for the ass like in Alabama.
No.
Do you want to use the word?
Vagina.
It doesn't say vagina. It says vaginal.
Right, I'm going to read this. You're butchering this title. A study shows that cannabis-infused vaginal suppositories help enhance sex for women recovering from gynecological cancers. Cannabis-infused vaginal suppositories seem to reduce sexual pain in women after treatment for gynecological cancer, according to a new study. Online exercises, meanwhile, help to improve sexual function, including arousal, lubrication, and orgasms. Combining the two, however, seems to offer patients the most benefit. The outcomes favored the combined group, says the study, published this month in a special issue of the journal Medicina, in which sexual function levels of sexual arousal, lubrication, and orgasm increased, and the levels of sexual pain decreased. The combined group also saw improvements in measures of mindful compassion, sexual self-efficacy, as well as general well-being and quality of life, authors noted. A fourth control group, in which participants received care as usual, experienced no differences in sexual functioning, the report says, although well-being and sexual self-efficacy diminished over the study period. Both cannabis suppositories and mindful compassion appear to be effective interventions for women after gynecological cancer treatment with these variables, the study concludes. The cannabis suppositories appeared to address sexual pain, and mindful compassion better mediated the analgesic properties of cannabis to support sexual function, well-being, sexual self-efficacy, and quality of life. The cannabis suppository may have also acted as a sexual lubricant, combining with the drug's analgesic properties to improve pain management, authors said. The 5-person UK-based research team behind the new findings represent London Metropolitan University, the East and North Hertfordshire National Health Service Trust, Regent's University London, and Imperial College London. The study followed 83 people, dividing them into 4 groups: a cannabis-only group, a mindful compassion group, a group combined cannabis and compassion group, and a care-as-usual group. In the cannabis-only group, 7 in 10 said they felt their sexual functioning was the same as without the suppository, according to the report. However, they felt that using cannabis suppositories had helped them with relaxation during the sexual act, which increased their sexual connection with their partner. Nearly half of the cannabis-only participants also voiced the need to have more widely available THC suppositories in healthcare, rather than having to make them themselves, the report says. Among the group that had the mindful compassion intervention, which included exercises involving mindfulness, breathing, relaxation techniques, and body scans, 72% of participants suggested that mindful compassion helped with relaxation and remaining in the moment, which improved their sexual experiences, authors found. Of those who had both the mindful compassion intervention and the cannabis suppository, 50% reported that mindful compassion effectively increased the pain-killing effects of the suppository. 33% felt more confident and better after the mindful compassion and suppository intervention, while 27.8% said they felt more relaxed. Those are both great.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah. THC might act as a vasodilator, allowing more blood to flow to the vagina, increasing sexual pleasure, authors wrote. When comparing suppository use with THC, CBD, or combined THC and CBD, the combined CBD and THC treatment was favored among participants in the study, they continued. The limitations of this study are based on ethical and legal cannabis restrictions in the UK, they wrote. Ideally, medical cannabis should become more readily available, including cannabis suppositories. As authors of the new study point out, using suppositories is not a new way of delivering medication, and past research involving both anal and vaginal suppositories suggests that the form factor offers unique benefits. Research published earlier this year, for example, that administration of a broad-spectrum high CBD vaginal suppository was associated with significantly reduced frequency and severity of menstrual-related symptoms, as well as easing symptoms, the negative impacts of those symptoms on daily life. Participants who used the CBD suppository generally reported less period pain, better mood, and lower use of pain medications compared to subjects who underwent conventional treatment. Authors of that study called for the findings to be replicated through randomized clinical trials, but said the study's outcomes suggest these suppositories alleviate a range of menstrual-related symptoms, improve daily functioning, and reduced use of analgesics. Most CBD participants reported at least moderate improvement of symptoms, authors wrote, with 73% reporting at least moderate improvement after 1 month and 81% reporting at least moderate improvement after 2 months. It's almost like, why would you not use it then?
Right.
Participants also reported more relief when using suppositories more often. Increased suppository use was significantly associated with greater reduction of symptoms, the report says, suggesting a potential dose-dependent response. Those findings came on the heels of separate research published in March, concluding that CBD taken orally helped alleviate menstrual-related symptoms such as irritability, anxiety, stress, and other measures when compared to participants' baseline measures. Among other research into marijuana and sexual health, a study last year in the Journal of Cannabis Research found that more than 70% of surveyed adults said cannabis before sex increased desire and improved orgasms, while 62.5% said cannabis enhanced pleasure while masturbating. Because past findings indicated women who have sex with men are typically less likely to orgasm than their partners, authors of that study said cannabis can potentially close the orgasm inequality gap. A 2020 study in the journal Sexual Medicine, it found that women who used cannabis more often had better sex. Numerous online surveys have also reported positive associations between marijuana and sex. Yet another study cautions that more marijuana doesn't necessarily mean better sex. A literature review published in 2019 found that cannabis's impact on libido may depend on dosage, with lower amounts of THC correlating with the highest levels of arousal and satisfaction. Most studies showed that marijuana has a positive effect on women's sexual function, the study found, but too much THC can actually backfire. Several studies have evaluated the effects of marijuana on libido, and it seems that changes in desire may be dose-dependent, the review's authors wrote. Studies support that lower doses improve desire, but higher doses either lower desire or do not affect desire at all.
That's good.
That's great.
That's a positive right there.
Yeah.
Another win for cannabis with the ladies.
That's right.
It's a better, funner suppository.
Why do you think more women are turning to cannabis?
Yeah. It's a lot better than the anal suppositories that they only get in Alabama, though. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
that's for sure.
Sorry, my friends in Alabama. I love you, though, but just some fucked up laws going on down there. Peach rings and suppositories. That's all you're getting. Both. You got a hole in the peach ring and a suppository. You're all good.
You're good. What more do you need?
Right. Oh, good Lord. Big Earl and I have a great show. We do the Grow Hour together, and we've probably explained this on that show, but just a good learning curve, understanding when you hear this in dispensaries or if you're at an event or something like that. So when you're talking about the plant, understanding phenotype, genotype, and chemotype, P, G, and C. What's the difference? We talk about plants, especially cannabis. We often hear the terms phenotype, genotype, and chemotype. These words may sound complicated, but they help us understand why plants look, smell, and feel different. Let's break them down in a way that's easy to understand. Genotype, the plant blueprint. Think of the genotype as the blueprint for the plant. Just like the blueprint shows how a building will be made, the genotype is a set of instructions that tells the plant how to grow. This blueprint comes from the plant's DNA, which it gets from its parents, just like us. Just like us. The genotype decides what possibilities the plant has, like how tall it could grow or what color leaves might be. Phenotype, what we can see. While the genotype is like a plant's blueprint, the phenotype is what we actually see. It's the results of the genotype interacting with the environment. For example, a plant's genotype might say it can grow tall, but if it doesn't get enough sunlight or water, it might stay short. The phenotype includes things like the plant's height, color, shape, and even how it tastes and smells. So we've talked about phenotype on a lot of articles on the Grow Hour too. So just so you know, phenotype, what we can see. Genotype, the blueprint, your DNA. So while the genotype is what could happen, the phenotype is what does happen depending on how the plant is grown. Chemotype, the plant's chemical profile, the inner workings.
Say that word again.
Chemotype.
Is it
CHEMOTYPE. I said all three words right.
Yeah.
Because I've learned them. The chemotype is about the plant's chemicals, especially the ones that give cannabis its effects, like THC and CBD. Different plants can have different chemotypes, even if they look similar. The chemotype depends on the plant's genotype and how it was grown. For example, two plants with the same genotype might have different chemotypes if one was grown in cooler climate and the other in warmer one. How they're similar. All three of these terms, genotype, phenotype, and chemotype, are connected. The genotype is like the starting point, setting the possibilities for the plant. The phenotype is what happens when the plant grows in the real world. showing the effects of the environment.
Wow.
The chemotype is the chemical outcome of the plant's growth, influenced by both its genotype and its environment. Are you mind blown right now?
That's great.
And we'll post this article too. How they're different. Genotype is the plant's genetic blueprint. It's the set of instructions that decide what could happen. Phenotype is what we see and experience with our senses. How the plant looks, smells, tastes based on both its genotype and its environment. I'm going to blow your mind one more time. Ready? Mm-hmm. Chemotype is the plant's chemical makeup, which determines its effects when used. Mm-hmm. It's influenced by both the genotype and the way the plant was grown. Mm-hmm. By understanding these terms, we can better appreciate why plants, especially cannabis, can be so different from one another, even if they come from the same family. Did that help, Mrs. Weedman?
That's great.
Did Mr. Weedman teach you something?
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you.
Winter solstice is coming.
It is.
Hopefully you all get to hear this before it comes on the in a couple of days from now. But 4 ways to celebrate the winter solstice with cannabis. Yeah. Here's a guide. Yeah. Mrs. Weedman, teach us.
Yeah, let me slug a sip of water here. Thank you. Got the froggy voice today. All right. The winter solstice is a beautiful marker of seasonal change, often celebrated for its symbolism of renewal, hope, and the gradual return of sunlight. Occurring around December 21st in the Northern Hemisphere, the winter solstice is the shortest day and the longest night of the year.
It feels like that right now.
Yeah. This event happens because the Earth tilts on its axis, resulting in one hemisphere being angled furthest from the sun. As the solstice passes, the days slowly begin to lengthen again, a fact that ancient cultures celebrated with great reverence as the return of light. Whether you view it as a time to honor ancient traditions, enjoy quiet reflections, or embrace the holiday spirit, cannabis can be a wonderful companion to your winter solstice celebration. Let's look at some ways to incorporate cannabis to enhance this day of relaxation, introspection, and renewal. You can embrace the stillness. Winter solstice often inspires introspection, inviting us to slow down and turn inward. It's an ideal time for rest and reflection. A cozy, relaxing chemovar can help create a meditative environment to appreciate the stillness and take time for self-reflection. Look for flower high in myrcene and linalool. These terpenes can contribute to relaxation and may enhance a quiet evening of contemplation or journaling. Popular choices might include strains like apples and bananas, Granddaddy Purple, or Northern Lights.
Love all three.
Known for their calming effects. How about celebrating light? Although it's the shortest day, the winter solstice marks a turning point. As the earth tilts toward the sun, each day gradually brings a little more light. This shift represents growth, potential, and new beginnings, a beautiful time to set goals or intentions for the coming year. An uplifting sativa strain can enhance creativity, helping to spark fresh ideas or inspire new projects for the season ahead. Chemovars high in limonene or pinene, like Government Oasis or Jack Herer or Lemon Haze, can bring a burst of energy and mental clarity, which makes them perfect companions for setting intentions. How about warming the body and soul? With the cold weather setting in, edibles can be a wonderful way to warm both body and spirit. Homemade cannabis-infused treats can make for a delightful addition to winter solstice gatherings.
I'm making a lot of butter this weekend.
Mm-hmm. The slower onset of edibles also complements the slow pace of solstice, encouraging you to relax and savor each moment. And solstice rituals. For those who enjoy ritual and sensory experiences, cannabis topicals offer a unique way to connect with the solstice energy. Bath bombs, oils, and lotions infused with CBD or THC provide localized relief and add a soothing touch to your evening. Consider pairing a warm bath with candlelight, essential oils, and your favorite playlist. Certain essential oils like lavender and eucalyptus complement the soothing effects of cannabis and can be used to create a truly immersive experience. Winter solstice has been celebrated in countless ways across cultures, from the ancient Yule festival in Northern Europe to the Roman Saturnalia. Today, we can draw from these traditions to make our own solstice rituals, incorporating cannabis to enhance our celebration. However you choose to celebrate, let the day be a time to honor nature, turn inward, and find peace in the slow return of the sun. Whether your solstice celebration includes setting intentions, cooking with cannabis, or simply finding a few quiet moments to reflect, may it bring you warmth and joy as you embrace the coming light.
Something to do this weekend.
Yeah.
Right? Something to go enjoy. Cannabis and the winter solstice. There's always festivals going on too.
Yeah.
Or you can come and get baked with Mr. and Mrs. Weedman at our winter solstice. I'm making butter this weekend.
Yeah.
A big girl came into town and I got a lot of shake and trim and I'm excited to make some fresh butter. It's been a minute. So I need some
treats.
ghee and I need some more coconut oil so we can do both. So excited. I like making butter. I love, especially when it's done and you put it through the strainer and you just watch this green goodness comes and it just smells so good.
yummy.
And then you just take a spoonful of it and then you're fucking whacked the rest of the night. Because it's so pure and so strong, you know. You found a new recipe too. And then you lost it. So hopefully you find this new recipe. It was like a caramel marshmallow kind of thingy that looked fantastic.
I can't find it. Maybe it'll resurface.
I hope so. Cannabis can significantly improve the quality of life for youth with autism, epilepsy, and other conditions, scientific review. A new scientific review found that cannabis, particularly high CBD and low THC products, that nice good ratio, significantly improves the quality of life for children with autism, epilepsy, and other conditions. The review analyzed 10 studies since 2019 showing promising results in managing symptoms, especially for autism spectrum disorder, and treatment-resistant epilepsy and mostly mild side effects. The strongest results were found in the study on ASD, where the majority of patients reported improvements. However, a few studies showed no significant difference, suggesting that medical cannabis didn't worsen outcomes. The review emphasized that while more research is needed, medical cannabis can be a viable treatment alongside traditional guidelines, particularly for ASD. The authors excluded FDA-approved products like Epidiolex, focusing instead on cannabis-based products commonly used in the USA and Canada. Physicians are encouraged to educate patients on available research, especially as many children use non-FDA-approved cannabis products from dispensaries. This emphasizes the need for consistency in the product access and further investigation into effective administration methods. Go cannabis, once again, for the win. Terpenes.
Yeah.
Cannabis terpenes relief post-surgery and fibromyalgia pain.
Yes.
New study shows.
Yeah. This is not a repeat. We have covered quite a few fibromyalgia research reviews, but it's a big topic.
Yes.
And as we know, women over the age of 40 and 50 are some of the biggest new consumers to cannabis, and they are finding relief through cannabis for a lot of midlife ailments. So we're going to keep bringing news because this show is really intended for everybody. It's not for just guys. It's not just for girls. It's just for everybody. So we try to cover a good balance of topics.
I mean, we talked about vagina.
I just talked about vaginal suppositories.
And I was talking about butt suppositories.
You were.
I was. So
I mean, we go everywhere.
We go every which way but loose.
Well, we don't. But on the show, we talk about a lot of things. But no, we don't.
We keep a lot of stuff private. Our private life is our private life. But we do like to bring new research and new information as we learn more. Like we've always said, we're not experts. We don't want to be experts because if we become experts, then we don't want to learn anymore.
We're just bringing you topics that we think help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying
to inform.
Tell us about it.
So here we go.
This is terpenes, though.
This is terpenes.
Yeah, not cannabinoids.
Yes.
So this is terpenes. So
this
is
is a
nice.
little different.
Yeah.
New government-funded research on terpenes produced by the cannabis plant find that some of the aromatic compounds could be promising therapeutics to help manage pain from fibromyalgia or during recovery from an operation. The study published this month in the journal Pharmacological Reports involved administering 4 separate terpenes. Geraniol. That's not 4 separate ones. That's me just not saying it right. Geraniol, linalool, beta-caryophyllene, and alpha-humulene. humulene
You said it right the first
to
time.
mice that either underwent paw incision surgery or had lab-induced fibromyalgia symptoms. I was a little struggling with this because this is all about animal research.
But most stuff
I
is.
know. I know. It's not nice, but it's so helpful for mankind.
I always say those poor mice.
Yeah.
But when they get cannabis, I don't feel bad for them at all.
All right. So these mice underwent either a paw incision surgery or they had lab-induced fibromyalgia. Didn't know that was possible. Symptoms, anyway. Researchers then measured their mechanical sensitivity over the course of 3 hours to evaluate the terpene's possible effects on pain. These results demonstrate that the terpenes geraniol, linalool, beta-carophylline, and A-humulene may be a viable medication for post-operative and fibromyalgia pain relief, the report says, which was funded by a grant from the National Institutes of Health. As for post-operative pain, each of the 4 studied terpenes increased the mechanical threshold significantly in comparison to the mice treated with the vehicle. I'm guessing that's like placebo, according to the research, referring to a solution without any terpenes that's been previously shown not to have any pain-relieving effect. So that's the vehicle. So
Gotcha.
Placebo. Taken together, the data suggests that all 4 terpenes are effective in relieving post-surgical pain. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 terpenes also increased mechanical sensitivity in mice with fibromyalgia-like symptoms compared to mice treated with the vehicle alone, at least for some time that points were measured. Differences in mice treated with geraniol and linalool were statistically significant, while sensitivity in the mice treated with the other 2 terpenes was elevated over vehicle, but not statistically significant, according to the report. These observations suggest that these 4 terpenes are also efficacious in a fibromyalgia pain model, it says. This further strengthens the case for the translational potential of cannabis and its individual components to determine if they could be effective in relieving post-operative and fibromyalgia pain in patients while causing more tolerable side effects than current standard medications for these ailments. The current study noted authors at the University of Arizona's Pharmacology Department and Center for Pain and Addiction is a continuation of their past research into the same 4 terpenes to treat other types of pain. Previously, we found the terpenes to be effective in relieving chemotherapy-induced peripheral neuropathy and inflammatory pain in mice, they wrote in the new report. Their efficacy in other pain models, such as post-operative and fibromyalgia pain, had not yet been defined. Through this work, authors continued, we found that these terpenes have significant anti-nociceptive effects, suggesting that terpenes could be potential novel therapeutics for all of these types of pain. The pain-relieving effect seems to be strongest for geraniol, then linalool, or A-humulene, the report says. The new study also built on past findings that adenosine A2A receptors, or the A2AR, are key mechanisms behind the apparent pain relief associated with terpene therapy, authors noted, writing. Their mechanism of activation via the A2AR furthers our knowledge of its importance in pain processing as a target of terpene drugs. Notably, the terpenes appeared to have no effect on the type of pain that researchers used as a control. Researchers said they saw a weak analgesic effect in an acute thermal pain model in their past work, and in the current study showed the terpenes have absolutely no efficacy in the acute nociceptive assay. Future work, they wrote, should use other pain modalities, such as thermal and non-evoked assays, such as burrowing or home cage monitoring, to fully demonstrate terpenes' efficacy in pathological but not acute nociceptive pain. So, if you're wondering what nociceptive pain is, it's one of the two main types of physical pain. The other type of pain is called neuropathic pain. So
I thought it was pain in the ass.
yeah, it
Oh,
is.
sorry.
Well, it is because it's physical pain. Yeah. The pain that we feel when we get kicked in the shin or, yeah.
Get kicked in the ass.
So injuries that would give you this nociceptive pain would be bruises, burns, fractures, pain from an overused joint or joint damage, arthritis, that kind of a thing.
Gotcha.
Okay. John M. Stryker, a co-author of the paper and a University of Arizona professor, told Marijuana Moment that the terpene's apparent effect on some types of pain and not others is shaping up to be a major theme in our future work on terpenes as pain relievers. Not all of this is published yet, but the story we're building is that terpenes do not relieve acute pain in an uninjured state, Stryker explained. On the other hand, he continued, we've now shown that terpenes are effective in multiple types of pathological pain. All of these pain states involve something going awry with your body, like neuropathic sensitization and nerve damage, inflammation, and similar. What we think is happening is that the molecular target of the terpenes is strongly increased during this type of pathological pain, meaning the terpenes can easily act to block the pain, Stryker said in an email. We don't want to lose our normal pain sensation. It keeps us alive, the professor wrote. That's one reason why therapies like lidocaine aren't used to manage all your pain, because you lose sensation. As cannabis policies have become less restrictive, researchers have taken a keen interest in the effects of terpenes and other minor chemical compounds in cannabis. On the medical side, they've been shown to have some beneficial health impacts on their own, and they may also interact with cannabinoids and other chemicals to enhance therapeutic effects. On the consumer side, terpenes produce much of the flavors and aromas of particular cannabis varieties. A separate study published earlier this year in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences found that the complex interaction between phytocannabinoids and biological systems offers hope for novel treatment approaches, potentially laying the groundwork for a new era of innovation in cannabis-based medicines. The plant cannabis exhibits an effect called the entourage effect, in which the combined actions of terpenes and phytocannabinoids results in effects that can exceed the sum of their separate contributions, that study found. This synergy emphasizes how important it is to consider the entire plant when utilizing cannabinoids medicinally, as opposed to just concentrating on individual cannabinoids. Another recent study looked at the collaborative interactions between cannabinoids, terpenes, flavonoids, and other molecules in the plant, concluding that a better understanding of the relationship of various chemical components is crucial for unraveling cannabis's complete therapeutic potential. A separate scientific review in September by researchers in Portugal, meanwhile, found that terpenes may indeed be influencers in the therapeutic benefits of cannabinoids. That paper, nevertheless, detailed preliminary findings around the therapeutic benefits of individual terpenes on a range of ailments. Exploratory evidence, it notes, citing earlier studies, suggests various therapeutic benefits of terpenes, such as myrcene for relaxing, linalool as a sleep aid, exhaustion relief, and mental stress, D-limonene as an analgesic, carophyllene for cold tolerance and analgesia, valencine for cartilage protection, borneol for anti-nociceptive and anticonvulsant potential, and eucalyptol for muscle pain. The study also acknowledges, however, that while myrcene demonstrated anti-inflammatory properties topically, it appeared the terpene offered no additional anti-inflammatory effect when combined with the cannabinoid CBD. The study doesn't settle on the ultimate role of terpenes in the so-called entourage effect. Authors wrote that the entourage effect appears plausible, particularly when considering minor phytocannabinoids, monoterpenes, sesquiterpenes, and sesquiterpenoids. Other recent research funded by the National Institute of Drug Abuse found that the citrusy smelling terpene in marijuana, D-limonene, could help ease anxiety and paranoia associated with THC. Researchers similarly said the finding could help unlock the maximum therapeutic benefits of THC. Scientists last year also discovered previously unidentified cannabis compounds called flavorants that they believe are responsible for the unique aromas of different varieties of marijuana. Previously, many had thought terpenes alone were responsible for various smells produced by the plant.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a loaded article, but wow. I mean, just the amount of things that are going to evolve from this plant in the coming years. It's so cool.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because there's angels in those leaves.
Yeah.
Yes. When is everybody going to listen to Mr. Weedman?
I don't know.
That's
Mr.
your caption
Weedman,
at the
right?
end. It's because there's angels in those leaves. Why this is happening? Am I wrong?
I don't think so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Political, state, and business news. Before we get started, I'd like you to all check out 8decades.com for all your cannabis accessory needs and clothing wear. 8decades.com. Check out Mr. Weedman's gear, Mrs. Weedman's 8 Decades gear, our smoke set. We got everything you need. Check it out. We got free shipping going on? Or no?
I think it's orders over 100 are free shipping.
Nice.
And then if you sign up for a newsletter, you'll get a code for free shipping on your first order.
Nice. There you go. Check out 8decades.com, everybody, and support the brand. Please throw us a bone, will you? Also, I'd like to thank our new, well, they've been our partners for a minute, but they opened up a new store in Hoffman Estates. I thank Starbuds for bringing in the 8 Decades brand.
Thank you, Starbuds. They're a great partner for us.
Great. They were our first partner in the dispensary world. We're in all three of their stores. To us. Yeah, and we're so loyal to them because I stopped by the store and they threw me some pre-rolls, some caviar, and I smoked one the other day. So, and then it's very hard for me to smoke an infused pre-roll during the show.
Yeah.
They get me too stony baloney and I can't concentrate. I love a good infused pre-roll, especially a hash hole donut. But
what do we have here?
They were one of the first craft grows to open here in Illinois. And Starbuds Caviar, appreciate you guys. Starbuds Burbank, Starbuds Riverside, and Starbuds Hoffman Estates. And I think they're going to have one open in Westmont. And then Caviar, I think they distribute their whole entire state. So, and then there are multiple states too. They are a multiple state operator and they are vertically integrated in a couple states too. So, thank you, Starbuds, for always taking good care of us. We love you. We appreciate the business you give us, and we make sure we support you. And we thank you so much for the support.
For sure. And we got a little blue unicorn poop and some devil driver.
Nice.
Yummies.
Yes. So, thank you, our friend Musa over at Starbuds, and the whole team there. We appreciate you and love you guys and gals. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Political, state, and business news. Pritzker calls for stronger hemp regulations in Illinois. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is calling for stronger hemp regulations in the state as regulatory measures concerning hemp has stalled in the Illinois State House. The governor emphasizes the need for clearer rules around hemp production and sales, aiming to address concerns about unregulated overlap between hemp-derived products and cannabis. Pritzker pushes for reform, highlights issues with inconsistent THC levels in hemp products, potentially for creating safety and regulatory challenges in Illinois. Standards, I believe in. I do. I believe there should be some standards, just like cannabis, hemp should have some hemp, regulations when it comes to products and COAs, and so all of them should be done, especially gas station products. Yes, we should legalize retail sales of cannabis. The landmark legislation of the 2021, which legalized adult use, was a bold step forward in Virginia. Unlicensed dealers are selling billions in untested cannabis, often to minors. The author highlights the public safety risks for these unregulated products, especially in Southwest Virginia, where illegal dispensaries are proliferating. A well-regulated retail market would ensure product safety, accurate labeling, and proper taxation, benefiting local businesses rather than large corporations. The author criticizes the current regulatory gaps under Governor Youngkin's administration. They went legal a while ago, fully rec, but there's nowhere you can buy weed. So you have shops. I'm not calling them illegal shops. I'm just calling them cool cannabis bodegas because there's nowhere you can buy weed unless you're going to the black market or the traditional market, which these shops are. So Governor, he didn't want to allow any recreational dispensaries. There's med, but there's no recreational. And so there's nowhere for people to get their weed. So give those shops that are already open a license. So you make some tax revenue off of it. And these people have good businesses. What's wrong with you, Governor? Man. Maryland adult use cannabis sales expected to yield over $100 million in tax revenue in 2025. Damn, little old Maryland just killing it. That governor did it right there, though. I do have to admit, everything I've read and everything I've talked about it, Maryland has done it so far from what I've seen and what I read. Is it time to worry about the 2024, or is it 2024 Farm Bill? The 2024 Farm Bill introduced by the Senate Agriculture Chairwoman Debbie Stambo presents significant concerns for the hemp industry, particularly regarding the redefinition of hemp and restrictions of cannabinoids like Delta-8 THC. The Mary Miller Amendment in the House version poses even greater risk, potentially banning products with any THC, threatening the 90-95% of hemp businesses. We know. Hold on. While immediate legislative action is unlikely due to political shifts, industry leaders urge vigilance as these bills could resurface in 2025. Efforts will focus on promoting regulation rather than prohibition. Now, I'm going to say something here. More and more corporate cannabis companies are getting into hemp or already in hemp and have been and like it more. We were talking about this last night. You can cross straight lines. You could sell basically to anybody. It is not very regulated. There's very low taxes on it.
And for some companies, it can help their dispensaries thrive until the market catches up with the cost, right?
Yep.
And so they can crank out CBD products under their same
Not
brand.
even just CBD. Delta-9.
Yeah, Delta-9.
And all the cannabinoids.
Right.
Just like you're getting in a regular dispensary. Mm-hmm. Now you can go to anywhere across the country and get it in a head shop or get it in a grocery store or get it. There's major companies involved in hemp now.
Oh, yeah.
Beer companies. Budweiser just signed a deal for 4 or 6 distributorships to distribute hemp products. Budweiser's doing it. They're not scared of hemp.
Well, and they already have the avenues of distribution in place.
Right.
So
and
it
they're
just makes
distributing
sense.
across liquor stores with the hemp beverages. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a $28 billion industry. Cannabis is and recreational is a $33 billion industry. They're neck and neck, and that's why the corporate cannabis. But then they're all getting in it. Mm-hmm. So we need the Farm Bill to pass, and we know in 2018 when Trump was the one and the Congress and the senators, they passed the 2018 Farm Bill. Yes, there wasn't a lot of regulation. It was only supposed to be CBD, but anything with 0.3% THC. Percent, not milligram percentage, and THCA's in there. Just let it go. This plant is made for everybody to make money. It's not about greed. And all you fucking corporal cannabis guys that are trying to fight this and trying to get it out, and all you governors now banning Delta-8 and this and that and this and that, you're only hurting yourselves in the end. You're going to take a $28 billion industry out, jobs, small mom and pop businesses that they can afford to do it. Because it doesn't cost a lot of money compared to trying to start a full cultivation in cannabis in just say a 15,000 or 25,000 square foot facility. Let's just say 5,000 square foot facility cultivation. Craft cultivation is $10 million, if not more. And you can have a small little farm, grow 20 fucking CBD hemp plants, get that shit processed and what you want, and turn around and turn it into distillate and turn it into anything you want. And sell it even as flour because it still smokes good. Turn that THCA into THC once you decarb it. Man, there's a lot of opportunity for people out there, man. Don't fuck this up. Mm-hmm. Mr. and Mrs. Weedman might have a chance to start their own little hemp line one day, you know? And then you're going to regulate it out the fucking ass. And all you governors out there are just a bunch of idiots, man, for stopping this and banning it. I understand the synthetic stuff. I get it. But the stuff that comes from the plant, man, don't fuck that shit up. Infused beverages executives seek path forward for hemp marijuana. Executives from hemp and cannabis infused beverages industries are strategizing for the future as federal marijuana rescheduling and the 2024 Farm Bill approach. Key concerns include regulatory differences between hemp and marijuana, with many businesses favoring hemp for lower cost and fewer barriers. Some, like Cheech and Chong's Global Holdings Company, anticipate nationwide cannabis shipping, while others, such as Cantrip and Fable, are committed to hemp due to high production cost in marijuana markets, like I was just talking about. The industry is seeking regulatory clarity to balance both hemp and marijuana markets. Balance both. Work together. Come here. I've talked about this on the show before. If you destroy the hemp industry, legal cannabis market here across the country, where are you going to get all of your minor cannabinoids that you use in all your stuff? You're not growing that. Are you going to fucking get it over from China and have it brought here and not know what it's in it? It's going to be all synthetic. You fools. You need the hemp industry. You need us, all of us, to make those minor cannabinoids for your products that you're selling. And also you need them to make your now hemp businesses that you're all starting across the country and the world, because you could ship some to countries now. They're shipping stuff over to other countries from here. Because there's countries that legalize
so we
hemp.
can import and export.
Yeah. Now. Fools. I tell you what. Hey, pink ladies. Is that what your name is? Tickled me pink. Thank you. Got me very high. Marijuana Group sends Trump a wish list for upcoming terms, including protecting gun rights for cannabis consumers. Two marijuana groups, MPP and NORML, sent a memo to President-elect Donald Trump urging federal cannabis reforms. They call the ending federal marijuana criminalization and protecting gun rights for cannabis consumers, expanding banking access, and supporting clemency for those convicted of cannabis-related offenses. The group also wants to remove cannabis as disqualifying factors for federal jobs and housing. Their memo outlines key actions Trump could take, emphasizing federal reforms that align state-level cannabis policies. More medical cannabis dispensaries anticipate licensures in next lottery. Kentucky has completed its first round of medical cannabis dispensary license drawings with 36 businesses named so far. The final drawings for regions around Lexington and Louisville will occur soon. Dispensaries will sell medical marijuana to patients with serious conditions. Each dispensary will have strict standards, tracking system for patient care, and pharmacy-like experiences patients can purchase from licensed dispensaries in the state. Full list of dispensaries will be available online when sales begin. State Senator Marica Coleman, Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission, must stop wasting taxpayers' money and give them their suppositories and their peach rings. Alabama State Senator Marica Coleman criticized the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission for wasting nearly $8 million in taxpayer money while failing to provide medical cannabis access to patients. The AMCC, tasked with implementing the state's medical cannabis program, has been bogged down in legal challenges and mismanagement. Coleman urged the commission to follow the law, stop costly lawsuits, and focus on delivering medical cannabis. There was another state that was getting a bunch of lawsuits, and they just opened up anyway and just handled the lawsuits while stores were opening up. That's what you just need to do, Alabama. It's time. Senator Majority Chuck Schumer pushed to attach a marijuana banking legislation to government funding bill, openly and solely blocked by Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Of course, because both of you jagoffs need to just get the hell out. And House Speaker Mike Johnson, Republican, Louisiana senator, source familiar with the negotiations. Just brutal. It's just sure, Schumer, just keep on just telling us you're going to do it. You know it's not going to pass. I'm going to do it. And it doesn't happen. You've been saying that for 8 years. They all need to retire. You shouldn't be over 65 and be in government. You're just way outdated and you're outdated. Just beat it. It's time for all you to retire. 65 and older, time to go. 69 tops, I would say. And after that, time to hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Right? That's what I say. November sets historic sales records for Missouri's marijuana market. Missouri's marijuana industry reached a historic milestone in November, achieving all-time high in both total monthly sales and daily average sales. November marijuana sales totaled at $128 million, surpassing the previous month record and making a 3.91% increase from October's $123.25 million. The daily average sales also reached a new peak of $4.27 million daily, reflecting unprecedented consumer engagement. Dang. Minnesota recreational cannabis licenses to be delayed for months. Just like Alabama. Minnesota's Office of Cannabis Management has delayed the insurance of recreational cannabis licenses.
Cannabis mismanagement?
Yes.
Yes.
Cannabis licenses due to legal challenges pushing the lottery processes to May or June now. We're supposed to open like this year, like 2025. Supposed to get, the OCM will now implement a standard licensing process for both social equity and general applications. This follows court ruling halting the original lottery over concerns about fairness. Social equity applicants still will still be prioritized, but the legal setback has complicated the rollout. Applications will open in early 2025 with lotteries for oversubscribed permits. Nearly 2 in 3 voters in rural Wisconsin support legalizing marijuana. New poll from conservative group shows. Broadly speaking, rural voters in the state have a desire for less government, more economic opportunity, and freedom to pursue the life they seek. Damn, Wisconsin. That's why we always like going there. The report concludes, adding, perhaps contrary to what we may stereotypically think, it means rural voters were open to legalizing cannabis and want the freedom to make personal decisions even on issues like abortion. I like Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. We've always liked Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. 51 truckloads of marijuana seized during bust in San Bernardino County. Inside, they found more than 3,000 trash bags stacked roughly 12 feet. I saw the picture. 12 feet high. All of which were stuffed with marijuana.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. The deputies said each bag weighed 30 to 50 pounds.
Dang.
3,000 of them. In all, the roughly 90,000 pounds.
That was ballsy.
Were worth more than $100 million.
Which means they knew it was like a 50-50 chance that they could lose that whole thing.
Somebody got stupid on the wheel. 100%.
But they knew they must have more inventory than that. They must be a big enough operation that they were willing to put all of that in one truck.
That's $100 million.
They were willing to risk it on one run.
Not just 1 milli.
I know. You hear what I'm saying?
Milli.
I know. But they must have that much and then some. Would you put your whole operation on one truck?
I've been known to throw my balls in a drum set every once in a while.
I mean, maybe if it was just like a balls to the wall, like, fuck it. This is it. They want it, they're getting it. They're not getting it. It's fucking going. Now there's nothing.
90,000 pounds.
Why wouldn't you just put it in 2 trucks? I don't know, 4 trucks?
6.
Something.
They threw their balls on the drum kit.
With some fake inventory at the back or something? I don't know. Come on, get smart,
it
guys.
It was one big long truck with just trash bags. It was. I got to show you. I'll show you the photo.
Why'd they do that? Oh, no.
Cannabis shopping loses its buzz. Starts looking like regular retail.
Yay.
A recent analysis of over 61 million transactions from 1,700 dispensaries reveals that cannabis consumers are increasingly treating dispensary visits as routine shopping experience, similar to grocery shopping. The shift indicates a move away from the initial novelty of cannabis retail. Key findings from the analytics including spending patterns. Consumers in new markets less than 5 years since legalization tend to spend more per visit, over $100, but purchase fewer items. In contrast, shoppers in mature markets like Colorado exhibit buying behaviors akin to traditional retail, such as stocking up during sales and returning to familiar brands. Demographics. Individuals aged 25 to 44 account for nearly 60% of transactions, while those 55 and older spend more per visit, $89.15 versus $62.08 for the ages of 18 to 24. This suggests that younger consumers may visit dispensaries more frequently, while older consumers tend to make less frequent but larger purchases. Shopping habits. Fridays and Saturdays account for 37% of all sales. I've been saying that forever.
Yeah.
Run your sales on the weekends. I know you try to get people in on the weekdays, but 37% of all sales are done on Fridays and Saturdays. Because it's like going to the liquor store.
Right.
Or
Groceries.
going to grocery stores and going Friday to pick up your stuff for the weekend.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, that's, like I said, saying it's like treating it as like going to the grocery store. Brand loyalty, though. Certain brands are consistently favored. There's leading brands out there. I'm not going to mention them. There's flower products, edibles, concentrates. There's certain brands that are across the country that are just leading the way in those products, and they're big companies. You know, this trend reflects the normalization of cannabis consumption and its integration into regular consumers' behavior. That was neat when I read that. It was a whole nice integration. Thank you. I thought it was a very interesting those statistics and those numbers they pulled. And we've talked about some of this on some prior episodes, but that was really good. Especially what got me was Fridays and Saturdays account for 37% of all sales.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just the normalization of it.
Yes.
Yeah. That's cool.
Michigan disciplines 30 cannabis business for alleged violations in November. Oof. What was state regulators took disciplinary actions against 30 cannabis in November. The Michigan Cannabis Regulatory Agency announced on Thursday the complaints ranged from selling recalled products to failing to divulge the THC content on pre-rolls. South Carolina senators filed bills to legalize medical marijuana in 2025 as an alternative to opioids for patients with pain. South Carolina Senator Tom Davis has pre-filed a bill to legalize medical marijuana in 2025, aiming to provide an alternative to opioids for patients in pain. The bill S53 would create a highly regulated medical marijuana system requiring doctor recommendations and pharmacist-dispensed cannabis
Wow.
at licensed pharmacies. That sucks.
Wow.
That doesn't give somebody enough, unless you start a pharmacy.
But if the pharmacy is getting the cannabis from the cultivation,
But-
it could be the same weed that you get in a dispensary, but you can get it from your pharmacy, so
Yeah,
it
but
runs
they're not
through
saying
your
you can get it
insurance.
from a dispensary there. It's only going to go from the cultivator to the pharmacies. There's
Right.
not going to be any dispensaries in South Carolina.
Oh, that's the only way.
Right.
That's dumb.
That's what this bill is saying.
Yeah.
It covers conditions like cancer, PTSD, and chronic disease where opioids are commonly prescribed. The bill is similar to a previous proposal passed by the Senate in 2024 but stalled in the House. Public support for medical marijuana in South Carolina is overwhelmingly bipartisan. Put it on the ballot. Let the fucking public decide. Cannabis regulators hike special fee for 2025. On December 12, 2024, the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission approved an increase in social equity excise fees to $2.50 per ounce of cannabis, up from $1.24. This fee, effectively January 1st, 2025, is levied on cannabis cultivators and fund programs aimed at supporting communities affected by cannabis criminalization. Additionally, the New Jersey CRC announced the opening of applications for cannabis consumption lounges in Jersey, the place I was born. Man, that's great. Cannabis consumption lounges. We can't even get any here in Illinois and Chicago. There's 3.
Unless you have a dispensary.
Right, and there's one that's not in Steger.
Right.
January 2nd, 2025, applications open for social equity designated retail businesses. April 2nd, 2025, applications open for micro businesses and diversely owned dispensaries. July 2nd, 2025, applications open for all other Class 5 retail operators. These consumption areas aim to provide safe spaces for cannabis consumption.
Right.
Wow. Why
Right.
didn't Illinois think of that
So
years
tough,
ago?
right?
Especially for individuals unable to consume at home. The NJCRC also approved application fees for consumption areas, micro businesses, $1,000 standard businesses, $5,000 for these fees support the regulatory framework for cannabis consumption areas in New Jersey. I'd pay $1,000 for a standard business to open a consumption lounge. I'd pay it. Hell yeah, I would do that. You know.
Yeah.
Massachusetts recreational marijuana sales hit 7 billion milestone since launch. Massachusetts adult marijuana sales have officially exceeded 7 billion since the state's legal market launch in 2018. Regulators announced, and 1 billion of that total came from in just 7 months, marketing a state record. Crazy. Nebraska Supreme Court may overturn election results legalizing medical cannabis. This is a hot topic right now for me, and I think everybody in Nebraska. Nebraska Supreme Court is considered overturning the results of a recent election that legalized medical marijuana. The challenge revolves around the claims of procedural issues of legal irregularities. Sorry, I'm stoned and cottonmouth. And how the measure was approved. And the court rules in favor of the challenge. It could block the legalization despite voter support. This case is part of the ongoing legal battle in Nebraska surrounding medical marijuana legalization. Nebraskans, you better go fight for this shit. You voted for it. I don't care if there was a few missed fucking names put on to get it on the ballot. You better fight for this because 71% of you wanted it. And if you're fucking, vote them out. Get rid of them. Tell those judges and those lawyers you're out, you know, because you voted for it. You, Nebraska, voted for that bill. Only you can prevent it. Just like you can only prevent forest fires.
Smokey.
The bear. Nebraska, don't take no shit. CEOs of the cannabis industry.
Yep.
This was really nice. I'm a big believer in mentorship, and when you get free information like this, lessons from people that started in the industry, and they're willing to throw some one-liners for you to learn a little bit, and you take it or leave it. 21 lessons learned from cannabis CEOs. Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah. I broke it down, so I'm going to read it a little differently. I don't know why. But I do have 4 CEOs of plant-touching cannabis companies sharing their lessons that help them steer their companies to success. Leading a company isn't easy. It's not easy in any industry. But when you're in a business like cannabis, it's a whole new world. Even for experienced leaders, this still young industry comes with a learning curve, full of hurdles and yet to be written rules. Lessons learned along the way help propel leaders and their businesses to success. Cannabis Business Times talked with 4 cannabis CEOs willing to share their top lessons learned so others in the industry could benefit. So, let's hear what they have to say. Lessons from Christina Betancourt Johnson, founder and CEO of Standard Wellness Maryland, the first African American and Latina majority-owned, vertically integrated cannabis company in the United States, and first vertically integrated social equity license to launch in Maryland. Her first bit of advice: don't let perfection stand in the way of progress. I learned the value of getting shit done. I've learned that iteration and incremental upgrades often lead to something exceptional. It's not about being flawless from day one. It's about moving forward, learning, and refining as you go. 2, put your people first, and they'll put your business first. Your employees are the lifeblood of your company. Respect them, listen to their ideas, and understand what they need to thrive. Because when you treat them with care, they'll treat your business the same way. 3, every deal dies at least once before it lives. Whether it's a new partnership, a real estate contract, or a licensing agreement, I've learned to expect hurdles. Deals fall apart, negotiations stall, and unexpected challenges arise. But that doesn't mean the opportunity is lost. Often, there is a chance to rethink, reposition, or reframe. The lesson: don't give up too easily. Stay persistent, flexible, and creative. And 4, trust yourself, but stay humble enough to learn from others. As a CEO, you're often the final decision maker, even in areas where you're not the subject matter expert. The key is striking a balance between trusting your instincts and relying on the expertise of others. Humility allows you to recognize what you don't know and seek input from your team or external advisors. I've honed my gut instinct by observing how people and situations unfold. That intuition, sharpened through experience, gives me the confidence to weigh in and make decisions with clarity and purpose. 5, let your mission be your North Star. In the fast-paced cannabis industry, it is so easy. I know this firsthand. It is so easy to get consumed by the day-to-day grind. As a conscious leader, I've found that staying rooted in your mission keeps everything in perspective. Yes, challenges will come, but the question I always ask myself: does this align with our mission and values? When your work is guided by your purpose, it inspires everyone around you to stay committed to the bigger picture. Yes, I think she had I could just end with that. She had phenomenal.
Oh, I read all.
That was a lot. That she gave some big stuff there.
Yeah, it was all 5 of hers. And I'm glad she was first.
Yeah,
because it was so good.
Yeah. So Will Bowden, founder and CEO of Grasshopper Farms, a local-centric, grower-driven cannabis cultivator and manufacturer. Described by Bowden as a decentralized MSO, the company operates in Michigan, Colorado, and New Jersey. 1, his first bit of advice: embrace 2025 and build a strong foundation for success. This year invites companies to sharpen their internal processes and carefully evaluate the external partnerships they forge. With determination and a clear vision, 2025 can be a landmark year for businesses ready to seize the moment and create lasting value. 2, lead with discipline, clarity, and intention. It's time for discipline, defining not only what we'll pursue, but also what we will consciously choose to set aside. This clarity can empower businesses to focus their energy, ensuring they operate at peak efficiency and deliver exceptional results. With a plethora of suppliers, partners, and services vying for attention, it is easy for meetings to consume valuable time. Strategic scheduling and intentional decision-making in this area can protect resources and ensure that efforts remain aligned with core business goals. That is great. 8, position yourself for success, navigating a newly emerging industry shaped by historical stigmas amplifies difficulties. Entrepreneurs who pair hard work, focus, and discipline with a foundation of robust business acumen are uniquely positioned for success. Lessons from Jason Vedati, CEO of Story Cannabis in Phoenix, Arizona. Story is a privately held multi-state operator with 2 cultivation facilities and 18 retail locations across Arizona, Maryland, and Ohio. First bit of advice, get into your market early. It's very difficult to come into these markets as a vertically integrated operator or MSO. There's an advantage to having been there from the beginning because you get the ability to watch the market grow. 2, crawl before you walk. A lot of people come in early and they don't really have a true understanding of the complexities of operating in multiple markets. It's almost like operating 2 different business models because we're governed by one set of federal laws. If you're in 10 or 15 states, you're governed by 10 or 15 different states. You really need to get a good bearing on what you're getting yourself into. Crawl before you walk. Pick one place. Get it figured out. Don't try to take on too much at once because really, it's not easy. 3, expect surprises. There are all these nuances that people may not understand that exist in this business, and it goes through this transitional period of second prohibition. There are little surprises that show up when you're not used to it. You might have been a great entrepreneur in the last thing you did, but in this one, it's like starting out in a world that didn't even exist until about 2010. You might find yourself a lot more surprised by little nuances like insurance, banking, financing. There are obstacles that are very unexpected and very hard to identify until they happen to you. 4, don't count on reform. Build your business and take a conservative approach. When beneficial reforms happen, then they're just kind of a pleasant surprise and a bonus, but don't count on them as a form of success. 5, get a good CPA and regulatory attorney. You need good tax advice. You need a really good CPA who's been through the 280E. Also, you need a good regulatory attorney that understands and can give you good advice on how to operate in the market. Be sure you're doing everything within boundaries of compliance. I think those 2 things are mandatory to getting yourself up and running. And we have lessons from Gibran Washington, CEO of Ethos Cannabis, a vertically integrated MSO headquartered in Philadelphia, with operations in Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and Ohio. He says, go vertical and scale your production relative to your retail presence. It's essential to align production growth with retail expansion to ensure sustainable supply and demand. Build your production facilities right the first time. Involve your operational team heavily in the process to ensure long-term success and efficiency from the start. 3, ensure your financial strategy supports your growth and future vision rather than focusing on short-term gains. 4, there are no quick fixes in this industry. Success comes down to consistency, doing things the right way, especially when it comes to people, products, and processes. 5, don't mistake passion for proficiency. Passion is important, but it's the ability to execute that ultimately drives success. 6, technology and methods evolve rapidly. Stay flexible and be prepared to pivot quickly. Adaptability is key. 7, greed doesn't win in this industry. Overbuilding for the sake of expansion can lead to unnecessary losses. 8, many prospective employees romanticize the industry, but it is hard work. The reality is that it's a lot of manufacturing, and success comes through persistence, not overnight wealth. And that is it. Some great words of advice.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And when somebody in the cannabis industry is that's successful, that own multiple states and
dealing with laws and rules. Yeah.
You listen. Mm-hmm. You listen to their advice.
I think those were all great.
Yeah, me too. International news, Portugal becomes the new El Dorado of medical cannabis in Europe. Portugal is positioning itself as a leading hub for medical cannabis in Europe with significant strides in production, export, and industry growth. Production and export cultivation. In 2023, Portugal exported approximately 12 tones of cannabis-based medical products, primarily in Germany, Europe's largest market. Their market share, the country aims to capture 10 to 15% of Europeans' therapeutic cannabis market. Damn, that's pretty good, Portugal. Hell yeah. Potentially generating annual revenue between 400 million and 600 million euros. Phew. Wow. Industry growth licensee. As 2023, Portugal has licensed 42 medicinal cannabis companies with additional 150 in the application process. Regulatory framework. The legal framework of medical cannabis in Portugal is established under law number 33, 2018, and decree law number 8, 2019, which set the principles and objectives for the use of cannabis for medicinal purposes. Projected growth. The medical cannabis market in Portugal is projected to grow by 4.24% in 2024 to 2029, reaching the market volume of the U.S. 9.23 million by 2029. Statistics, these developments underscore Portugal's commitment to become the central player in Europe's medical cannabis sector, attracting investment and fostering industry innovation. Government misses deadline to seal cannabis possession records for thousands of Canadians. Damn. In 2024, the Canadian government missed a legislative deadline to fully implement a program designed to help individuals with cannabis possession records. Despite recreational cannabis being legal in Canada since 2018, having a record for simple possession can still hinder employment opportunities and international travel. To address this, the government introduced Bill C-5, aimed to automatically sequester such records, preventing them from appearing on criminal background checks. The deadline for this process was set for November 24th, but Public Safety Canada stated the work for sequestering records is ongoing. This daily has raised concerns among advocates who argue that individuals with cannabis possession records continue to face unnecessary barriers. The government has directed the Royal Canadian Mounted Police to withhold possession records during background checks, but the full implementations of the program is still pending. The missed deadline highlights ongoing challenges in fully integrating cannabis legalization into Canadian society, ensuring that individuals with past possession records are not unduly disadvantaged. 8 Chinese nationals indicted for massive marijuana operations. Guess where? I don't know. South Georgia.
Really?
Yes. 8 Chinese nationals are facing serious felony charges after law enforcement uncovered substantial indoor marijuana cultivation setups in South Georgia. According to the press release from the U.S. Attorney Office for Southern District of Georgia, the defendants, if convicted, could face a minimum of 10 years to a potential life sentence in prison, complemented by hefty fines that could soar up to $10 million. Now, that's Oklahoma, Maine, and
wasn't it Tennessee
South Georgia.
too?
No, not Tennessee. There might have been a little program there, but nothing crazy like what we've seen now we're seeing in these 3 states. Medical marijuana is said to become available in Ukraine early in 2025, key lawmakers say. Following the legalization of medical marijuana in Ukraine earlier this year, the lawmaker said this week the first registered cannabis medicines could become available as soon as next month. Top German officials approve rules allowing commercial marijuana sales pilot program for research purposes. Yay. Japan tightens cannabis laws amid rising youth usage. Japan has recently tightened its cannabis laws, criminalizing marijuana use in addition to possession and sale. The revised legislation took place on December 12, 2024, raises penalties for marijuana-related offenses, including to 7 years in prison for both uses and possession.
Why? What is their problem with it?
They hate cannabis and its psychoactive component, THCs, are now classified as narcotics under Narcotics and Psychotropics Control Law. The move follows concerns of a rising cannabis use among the youth. The youth. Canadian postal strike sees medical cannabis patients struggle for access. Bam. Gotta get them their weed. This is for our homie Tez in Perth. And a Dalkeith schoolboy ran a significant drug enterprise from his bedroom in Perth.
Go kid.
I saw the picture of the school that said Perth on there. And it's the first thing I thought was our homies in Australia. The extent of the 16-year-old boy's drug enterprise operated from his parents' Dalkeith mansion has been revealed in court as a teenager was sentenced for selling his schoolmates gummy bears with cannabis infused. Smart kid. The boy, who cannot be named or shall not be named for illegal reasons, was arrested in August after school teachers searched his bag and found the gummies, which had led to hospitalizations of other 16-year-old boy and his girlfriend. Probably didn't start low and go slow, I presume. The teenager denied he had sold the gummies, but later confessed after police searched his home and found items in his bedroom revealing a significant operation.
Oh, shit. How many plants?
The blue gummy bears were sold for $35, and teenagers' bedrooms contained 8 jars of cannabis resin, smoking implements, digital scales, a grinder, silicone molds, supplements and liquids, as well as a pot and a stove. Homeboy was fucking
cooking shit up.
Cooking.
Wow.
Fucking, man, I'm proud of this fucking kid. Doing it right. During the boys' sentencing.
Making his own gummy bears.
Yeah. During the boys' sentencing in Perth's Children's Court on Monday, prosecutors argued a supervisor order which would mandate drug and mental health counseling.
Jeez.
Would be an appropriate punishment given the officer involved in commercial drug operation would send the message to other teenagers about seriousness of such.
You are
offending.
entrepreneurial.
If you're a cannabis company in Australia, you need to hire this kid to make the blue
right?
gummies. Instead of calling it blue magic, call it blue gummies. And have this kid fucking just run amok. Oh my God, I would hire him all over. He'd have a fan club, you know? But the boy's lawyer argued that the 16-year-old got a fright when he found out his customers had been hospitalized after consuming one of his gummies, and that the involvement of the police brought home the seriousness of what he had done. All those have provided a powerful deterrent effect, the lawyer said. The magistrate agreed, and the teenager was given a community-based order for 5 months, noting she believed that the teen had taken the matter very seriously and instigated his own rehabilitation.
He was a smart kid.
Yo, that's all for our homies. I'm proud of that kid.
Yeah.
Mr. Weedman is proud of that kid. I know he was 16, but he had a nice little setup, a little Heisenberg setup in his fucking bedroom in his parents' mansion and selling the blue magic gummy. I'm proud of that kid. I know I'm probably going to get chastised because he's 16 years old, but I don't give a fuck. I'm proud of that kid. Go for you. Perth,
the work
Australia.
ethic, I can appreciate it.
Yes. Perth, Australia. I love you out there, and that makes me proud. How do you spark your love life these days? I can tell you, there's the best 420 friendly dating apps that will spark your love life up if you're out there and you want to go to cannabis friendly. I don't know. I've never been on one before, so I don't know what the fuck they look like. So I don't even know what to tell you. But anyway, if you're looking for a date that's 420 friendly, Mrs. Weedman's going to tell you all about it.
I don't care that you're a stoner. Are words any weed enthusiast would love to hear during a hangout sesh, but from a date works too. While it's a tricky subject to bring up on a blind date or a serendipitous meetup, putting the feelers out on a dating app can help you avoid more awkward first dates with someone who's not a fan of weed. If ingesting weed comes to mind when listing off your hobbies, it's completely valid to prefer a match who would also enjoy a night of Netflix on the couch with a laser bong. Well, lucky you. Finding a weed-friendly partner doesn't require a weed-centric dating app, though a few of those technically do exist. Hi There, HIGH that is, and 420 Singles would probably be considered the two main stoner dating apps, though main is a bit of a stretch considering the lack of an active user base. While we would love to find an active dating site just for cannabis users, user reviews point back to the same issue. These apps often devolve into places to buy and sell weed. Luckily, there are plenty of mainstream dating apps that let you filter by interests or even allow you to mention your love for cannabis in your bio. That said, not all of these advanced matchmaking features for finding your fellow stoners are free. On those, your best bet is to disclose your 420 status in your bio. So if you don't want to have to pay for an app, you just make it part of your bio. Let's talk about the best 420 friendly dating apps of 2024. These apps are where the cannabis-loving community finds love and maybe a smoking buddy. So skip the uncomfortable small talk and get straight to connecting with people who get it. First one is Hinge, and they say this is the best dating app for stoners. Who it's for. Hinge offers a refreshing approach to online dating that's a little more in-depth than swiping aimlessly, that is, without making you answer a ton of corny questions like the older, more full-fledged dating sites do. The app blew up after its redesign in 2016 and has stayed a staple for singles 18 to 35 who want to connect on something past initial mutual attraction and beyond their love of weed. Hinge is definitely hoping the smoke sesh sparks a connection that leads to something more. Hinge separates itself from the bunch as the only relationship app that actively matches singles based on cannabis compatibility, though applying those advanced filters to your search only comes with the paid version of the app. Hinge has even looked into how disclosing your marijuana usage on your profile affects your prospects, revealing that you're a cannabis enthusiast might increase your chances of receiving matches by 10% if you're under 25 years old, according to a study performed by the app. If you're over 25, your likes decrease by 25% and by 35% for those older than 40. Their next recommendation is OkCupid. They say it's the best dating app for progressive singles. OkCupid isn't the old school dating site you're picturing. It's a dating app where you can search for matches using terms like 420 and find people who are open about their cannabis use. It's actually become one of the more modern, left-leaning dating apps, fostering a chill, inviting space where weed enthusiasts can filter potential matches based on smoking preferences. Due to other inclusivities built in, like a robust list of ways to identify, OkCupid is also one of the best dating apps for queer people that's not officially geared toward queer people. OkCupid is tried and true. It's a tried and true dating service that has 20 years of perfecting its matchmaking algorithm under its belt. OkCupid remains hugely popular after a 2019 rebrand began targeting a young, sex-positive audience with a chic interface redesign, a refreshed profile-building process, and witty, inclusive ads. If you smoke but are fine with meeting someone who doesn't, as long as they're cool with you doing it, there's a convenient feature for that, too. The app also earns major bonus points for offering a feature where you can search within keywords in people's profiles. Try like 420, weed, or cannabis to easily find other consumers on the site. That's cool. Grindr, best dating app for gay stoners.
Oh, I'm glad you skipped one, didn't you?
I did. That one was like an ad.
Yeah.
It was like a plug-in.
Yeah, it was for sex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, nah.
I was wondering if you were going to skip that one. I was like, we ain't talking
Yeah.
about that.
Grindr is the best dating app for gay stoners. Grindr would be a genius name for an app just for joint rollers and bong hitters, but it's actually the best dating app for gay cannabis enthusiasts looking for like-minded guys. Serious relationships are definitely on there too. Just state your intentions and your 420 friendliness in your bio. The top response to a popular Reddit post from 2022 asking if there are any stoner dating apps simply states, there is. It's called Grindr. Obviously, Grindr isn't a dedicated app for stoners. In fact, you'll almost certainly encounter users looking to party and play with harder substances than weed. Hi there, spelled H-I-G-H with a punctuation mark, is what they consider the best cannabis social network. It is less of a dating site and more of a 420 friendly social network.
I talked about this
That's
a
pretty
while,
cool.
but
Yeah.
I talked about this a while ago.
Yeah.
And I did join it, but I never go on it because
Nobody's on there. Okay.
There is, but it just like I don't know how to. It's like Instagram.
Okay.
But I don't know how to really use it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a 420 friendly social network where people who really know their stuff can connect. If you're not so much looking for a stoner soulmate as you are to meet someone who can get into the weeds about weed, Hi There could be a place to look. A word of caution. Hi There isn't nearly as developed of an app or community as others. Anyone willing to give this niche service may experience app glitches and a not-so-saturated feed or dead profiles. Of the few and mostly underdeveloped weed-themed social apps, Hi There is probably the most put together, but still needing a revamp. The next is Match, best serious 420 friendly dating. Match is a mainstream dating app that tends to appeal to a more left-leaning audience. While it's not specifically a 420 friendly dating site, Match gives you a space to express your views on cannabis and connect with folks who are open to the idea of enjoying it together on a first date. Because of its large active user base and because weed preferences are built right into the matching system, we believe Match is the clear winner among the best 420-friendly dating apps. It's a site for people looking for deeper connections rather than casual hookups. With Match, it's much easier to determine if your potential match does smoke weed ahead of time because the app factors it into your compatibility. When signing up, you'll be asked about your stance on cannabis to help match you with others whose lifestyles go with yours from the get-go. And Plenty of Fish, another site. This is the last resort for people. This sounds so desperate. Last resort for people over 40. Plenty of Fish. And look, there's plenty of them, right? Like we're all desperate after 40, right?
Shit.
Plenty of Fish is a dating sea teeming with opportunities. That sounds so desperate. For companionship, friendship, and a hookup here and there if that's what you're looking for. Thanks to an interest search feature, you'll easily be able to find a date who would love to roll a joint with you. It might not have the cultural cachet of apps like Bumble or Tinder, but Plenty of Fish is one of the most popular dating sites among singles, with more than 100 million members worldwide. And it's not just for dating. If you're looking for a new smoking buddy, this is a great way to meet less than romantic connections too. Plenty of Fish is a good alternative to OkCupid in terms of dating apps. They're both kind of in the same tier. While you can search by location, age, and gender, you can also search by interests like 420 friendly and cannabis. You'd be surprised how many people who use the dating site are regular smokers. Given how friendly Plenty of Fish is toward weed users and how big its member pool is, it makes for a better experience.
Nice.
So there you go. Go get a date, would you? Mm-hmm. Or somebody to smoke with.
Kind of funny. I think I messed up the show for a minute.
You did?
Yeah. I turned
Why?
my mic off for a second because the heat went on, and I think I had it turned off like a long time. I don't know how long. So,
Well,
yeah.
we might be playing the
phone one instead.
Yeah, the phone
Whatever.
audio.
So if you missed the whole international news, I think that's when it might have happened. Maybe Shawty could fix it. I don't know. Anyway, Ms. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
That's the end of the show.
It is.
But we're not going to be recording until the 27th of next week because Christmas is coming up, everybody. Mm-hmm. We just want to say Merry Christmas to you all.
Yes.
Happy holidays. Around the world, we love you. Thanks for listening. Ms. Weedman, you want to say something?
Have a wonderful holiday season. Make the best of it. And I encourage you to find companionship, find somebody to hang out with. Don't be alone. And try to find some place warm and comfortable where you can have a sesh and enjoy yourself. Mm-hmm. And thank you for always listening.
Thank you all. Blessings and favor to you all out there. Merry Christmas to you all. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff, puff, and away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.